Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. I hope you're all doing well. It's Sunday morning. It's dank. It's cold. It's miserable. God, it's been awful last few days here in the UK. But let's cheer ourselves up. Let's warm ourselves up with some movie talk. Let's keep talking movies. And this week we have got 9 films that I've watched from the collection. Yep, 9. I don't know whether I'm proud of myself or ashamed of myself for spending all this time watching films, but there you go. So anyway, let's crack on with this. I started off last Sunday morning. I've been watching Ian's channel, Forkaball. I don't know whether you're familiar with Ian, but he's been around YouTube a long time and changes channels quite regularly, so sometimes you have to track him down again, hire out a private investigator and track him down. But Ian's been doing his A to Z of his film collection, and he highlighted this one, and it's a film I really like. So I gave it a watch. F.W. Murnau's City Girl. This is a silent film from surprisingly 1930. I could have sworn it would be a 20s film, being a silent film, but no, it's actually 1930. This is all about this guy. He's a farmer, and he goes into the city. I can't remember, Chicago or Detroit, one of the two. I think it's Chicago. He goes into Chicago, we're going to go with that, to sell his wheat crop. And while he's there, he meets this girl here who works in a restaurant as a waitress, and he falls in love with her, and then he takes her back to live on the farm with his parents. And when he gets back, he hasn't made the right amount of money for the wheat, so his dad's down on him, which automatically puts him down on his new marriage to this lady here, and everything goes pear-shaped for the couple. She was looking forward to this idyllic life on a farm, but the father-in-law hates her and drives a division between her and her new husband. Then it's harvest season, and all these guys come in to help with the harvest, and they're trying to chat her up and get off with her and that. And yeah, just a really entertaining silent film that I really like. And can't go wrong with Murnau. It looks beautiful as well, and it's incredible. Like, really interesting to see how they worked the farms back in the day. Like, they had this big plough, and it must have had 20 asses. When I say asses, I don't mean bottoms. The animal pulling this plough along, and it was quite an incredible sight to watch this big plough being pulled by all these. I think they're either asses or mules. I'm no Richard Attenborough, but they're one of the two, or even David Attenborough. Oh God, this is off to a good start. But we'll keep with it. No, Richard Attenborough. Oh, what a wally. Next up for myself was Licorice Pizza, the latest film by Paul Thomas Anderson, and I've had this a while, and it's taken me a while to get round to it. Much to my foolery, because it was a really good film. It stars Cooper Hoffman, who is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, and you can see the similarities there. They've got a very similar look about him to his dad. And Alana Haim. Now, I think they were quite novice to acting at the time, and they do a really good job. Cooper Hoffman, he plays this like 15-year-old kid, and he's got this really entrepreneurial spirit about him. Like when waterbeds first appeared, he set up a factory making them. And then when pinball got decriminalised in America, and I didn't know that pinball was illegal in America for so many years, because apparently it looked upon that it encouraged like youth to hang around and encourage crime and gangster type activities. Yeah, so I learned something watching this, and he falls in love with Alana Haim, who's quite a few years older than him, and although he's like this entrepreneurial guru who's ahead of his time, like she's more further along life's road than him. So she looks upon him as more a friend stroke little brother type figure, and it's just how they get on in life, how over the next couple of years, and how they grow closer together. Wonderfully written, wonderfully shot. It's set in the early 70s, so the soundtrack is incredible. Yeah, really, really good soundtrack, and a good light-hearted film that you don't need to think too much about. There's not a lot plot-wise, but you just let it envelop you, and you enjoy it. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and just annoyed that it took me so long to get round to watching it. Now, I've watched all Paul Thomas Anderson's films, bar two, I think. Believe it or not, them two, Magnolia, and the one in the porn industry, which I'm blanking on now. You're all shouting it at me, but yeah, they're the two I haven't seen, which are arguably his two highest acclaimed films, so I should get onto them because I love every other film that I've seen of him. What am I like? Next up, now when I did my end of year sort of overview video a couple of weeks ago, I said that a film from this box set, this Arrow video box set, into the video store, The Dungeon Master. I said that I thought that that was maybe, well, I said that it was the worst film I'd seen all year and how terrible it was. And then I dove back into this box set and I watched Cellar Dweller. Look at that artwork. The artwork's nice, isn't it? And Dungeon Master being last year's worst film, I'll be very, very surprised if this is beaten to this year's worst film, because this was bloody terrible. Oh my God, it was all about this artist in this cabin at this art school type place where she drew a monster, and it happened before in the past, and then the monster came to life. Yep, that's how daft it is. And the monster, I'm going to spoil it. If you don't want to know what happens, stick your fingers in your ears, but I'll save you some pain if you did listen and never watch this pile of poo. And to defeat the monster, you can set fire to the drawing. Yes, some monster that is probably the weakest monster kill since they killed the aliens in Signs with Water. It's 77 minutes, but feels like 777 minutes. It's terrible acting. It's low budget. Do yourself a favour, just don't bother with this crap. I know some people quite like it, so I probably offended him. So I've watched 3 out of here. Cellar Dweller, appalling. Dungeon Master, abysmal. Dolls wasn't too bad. I got on with that all right, and I don't know whether I've really got the moral fortitude or just in it me to carry on with this box set. I don't know. I might just move it onto the collection because, yeah, it ain't great. Now, the other afternoon, I think it was last Sunday afternoon, Mrs. Blu-Roy and we went to the cinema and we watched the new Eggers film Nosferatu, and we both loved it. I thought it was incredible. Mrs. Blu-Roy really enjoyed it. So I dove back into my Werner Herzog box set and rewatched his iteration of the film, the 1971 version with Klaus Kinski, as they actually call him Count Dracula in this version. They don't call him Orlok, they go with Dracula. And whilst I'm going to say out of Eggers' version, this version, and the original Murnau version, I'm going to say this is the weakest, but very high bars. It's still a great, great film. I think where this one comes on top is the cinematography. The village that they live in, Dracula, and I'll call him Dracula because he is in the film, where he comes back to buy the house, and Harker's journey to the castle, the countryside, breathtaking. It's Herzog. He always does great, great cinematography. Like, if you know Aguirre, The Wrath of God, that sort of film. Yeah, just looks breathtaking. Yeah, really good film. Isabella Gianni, is it? Yeah, she's lovely in it as the character, character where he comes and gets obsessed with a Dracula. Yeah, really good stuff. I really recommend, if you've seen the new one and the silent version but not seen this, give it a watch. The only negative point for the film was me, the Renfield character's very annoying in it. He's got this stupid giggle that's pretty annoying and hard to get on with. But for me, that's the only down point of it. Yeah. Great film in the Nosferatu universe. God, Nosferatu cinematic universe. How about that? Yeah, good film. Next up for myself, and a film, it might surprise a few, probably most of you, that I'd never seen before. A first time watch. Ghost. Yeah, that's right. Never seen this before. What was it? Early 90s, about 1990, I think. Directed by Jerry Zucker. Now, the reason I never watched it, I'm not into like these sentimental, trashy type films, and Forrest Gump. I hate Forrest Gump, as it's known on this channel. So I've always avoided it. But you know what? I was really surprised. I really enjoyed it. I shocked myself. Yeah, Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg, who was hilarious in this. I was always under the impression that it was just like I knew like Swayze comes back from the dead. I just thought it was him reconnecting with Demi Moore and like a slushy love film. I'd no idea it had all this crime element and trying to murder Demi Moore's character, these guys, and embezzlement and all stuff like that. I never knew that was going on in the story, so I should have watched it years ago, because it's really, really good. They've got these creatures that come from out of hell to drag the bad guys into hell, which were quite spooky. Yeah, I'll be watching it again in the future. Yeah, really, really good. And yeah, I'm an idiot, but you guys know that anyway. Anyway, who cares? Next up, a rewatch for myself. Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes. Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law. Love this film. Think it's a great film. The chemistry that Law and Downey Jr. have between them, absolutely brilliant. Downey Jr. is playing his egotistical arsehole sort of character he does as Tony Stark in the MCU, but he does it so well, so just keep going with it. Keep going it, because you're awesome. Mark Strong as the bad guy. I love Mark Strong, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. Got such a booming, characteristic voice that I always enjoy what he does. And the girl, Rachel McAdams, oh, she's lovely, she is, and enjoy her. It's got great plot. These secret organisation trying to infiltrate the government and take over everything. It's filmed with construction of Tower Bridge, which I liked, that bit of it. And there's a great fight scene on the half-constructed Tower Bridge. Yeah, really awesome stuff. That I enjoy. Guy Ritchie's just brilliant, isn't he? I haven't never seen the second film, so I must get round to watching that. If you've seen that, is it as good as the first one? Is it better? Is it worse? Let me know. Oh, dropping everything everywhere. Next up, which is a film that's been on my radar for a long time, and I've had the Blu-ray on my wish list for quite a long time, and it's always been that little bit expensive, so I haven't bothered getting it. So I saw a DVD in a charity shop for 50p, so I thought I'd get it and give it a watch. And that's Peter Weir's, I think it's about 1975, Picnic at Hanging Rock. Now this is about a group of girls from this college, finishing school in Australia, and on the 14th of February 1900, a true story, they go to this place called Hanging Rock, this sort of like volcanic, big, huge rock, for a picnic, and 3 of them disappear, the girls and a teacher as well, and they're never seen again. And it's a true story, and they were never ever seen again, bodies recovered, ready there, and it remains a mystery to this day what happened to these girls and this teacher. And I must say, the film, I was pretty disappointed, to be honest. I thought all these years that it was something that I was going to really dig, but up to the disappearance of the girls, it was really good and shot beautifully. Uh, Weir makes the hanging rock itself like menacing and almost a character in the film itself. But after the disappearance of the girl, and it concentrated on the ones that were left behind, the teachers and the pupils left behind in the school, I thought it was a bit dull. Yeah, just didn't fit for me. I don't know why sometimes films are just like that, aren't they? That they'll not fit for you. And unfortunately, this was one of them. On a plus point, I don't suppose I've wasted 15 quid on a Blu-ray. It's only cost me 50p. But yeah, strange, because it was one that I was sure that I was going to really like, and I know most people do. And the music in it was quite annoying. There's a sort of flute tune playing that got me nerves. So, yeah, not one I'll revisit, and thankfully I've saved a bit of money. Next up a film. Now, if you look in the dictionary, do people still have dictionaries? Or do they just use computers? Probably not. But if you look up in a dictionary and under charming, you'll probably see a picture of this film, because that's what this film is, The Railway Children. 1970, adapted by Nesbitt's, was an author, E. Nesbitt's novel, directed by Lionel Jeffries, and like I say, just an utterly charming British film about these children who have moved to the Yorkshire countryside from London because their father, who's in government, he's been imprisoned, and the family now, they say they're poor, but when they move to the Yorkshire countryside, they've only got one maid instead of how many they had, so they can't be doing too bad if they've still got a maid. Yeah, just utterly charming film from my childhood. It's always on the TV, and the Blu-ray actually looked really, really nice. Yeah, really enjoyed watching it. I'm sure most people have seen it. I caught a bit of the recent sequel on TV over Christmas, and I must grab a copy of that because it actually looked quite decent. Yeah, it's The Railway Children. And last up for the week, Michael Reeves films from 1967, I think it was, The Sorcerers. And what a great film this was. A brilliant way to round the week off. I really enjoyed this. Boris Karloff, old Frankenstein himself, Catherine Lacey, Ian Ogilvy, and Elizabeth Ergy. And I think there's also Susan George. She had a small part in it. This is about Boris Karloff. He's this renowned hypnotist, and he uses it for medical purposes to help people out. And he invents a mind control machine that him and his wife want to try out on somebody. So they get a young Ian Ogilvy from the pub. He's just rolled out the pub, and they get him round, and they put him in this mind control machine, and then they have power over his actions, and everything he feels they can feel. Like he goes in the swimming pool and they're controlling him with their minds, and they can feel water all around him. And they start off like that with quite innocent things, but then it leads to burglary, theft, and eventually to murder. And yeah, great sort of like science fiction, horror type crime mashup that I really enjoyed. Out of the Michael Reeves box set, I think it's the best one I've watched so far. I enjoyed it more than Witchfinder General, which I do like that film. So yeah, really good. If you've got a copy of this and you're not seeing it, just stick it in the player, because it's pretty awesome. And it looked a lovely Blu-ray too. Yeah, really, really good. So that was it for the week, guys. 9 titles. What do you think of that little lot? Pretty decent week. A couple of turkeys stuck in there, but not every frog you kiss turns into a prince. So give me a thumbs up if you've liked what I've done here today. Maybe think about subscribing, and I'll catch you all later. Ta-ra, behave yourselves.